Hey YouTube, I'm back this time with my beauty empties for the month of June, no, getting ahead of myself, May 2018 and leading into June. So I kind of had June on the mind because, as I said in my last video, I am moving back to the States. Surprise, on June 3rd. So not only will this be an empties for the month of May, but also I'm gonna have quite a few declutter items here too, and that's part of the reason why this is such a big empties for me. So with that in mind, if you're interested in hearing a little bit why I'm moving to the States, I will link my Bath & Body Works empties video down below. But because there's a ton here, I just want to get started. So the very first thing that I actually emptied, so I'll start with my actual empties first and then move on to my declutter, is this Batiste Stylist Heat and Shine Spray. So I decided to kind of venture into the realm of heat protectant sprays, and this is one that I found. I'm not sure that Batiste is cruelty-free, and as you guys know from my channel, I have started making the transition to cruelty-free. I would be interested in having a heat protectant spray again because most days I do heat style my hair. Like I said, I will need to check the cruelty-free status of Batiste, but if it is cruelty-free, I would repurchase this. I definitely noticed a difference, especially with shine in my hair. Whether or not you're cruelty-free, I guess if you're not cruelty-free and the status of Batiste doesn't really concern you, then like I said, generally speaking, I would recommend this particular product. The next thing that I finished up is a conditioner from Herbal Essences. This is Hello Hydration. I mentioned in my beauty videos before that I love the Hello Hydration line from Herbal Essences. Unfortunately for me, Herbal Essences is not cruelty-free, so I personally will not repurchase this. However, just like that Batiste spray, I did notice a difference in how healthy my hair looked when I used this. So if I weren't making the transition, I would continue to repurchase, but because I am, I think I'm going to go back to my roots, no pun intended, with hair, and start purchasing Paul Mitchell products again, because Paul Mitchell does the same thing. The Awa Pui line, I feel, does the same thing as Hello Hydration. It's just a little bit more pricey, but also it's cruelty-free, so that's why I think I'll spring for Paul Mitchell in the future. The next thing that I finished up, speaking of which, is a Paul Mitchell product. This is a super skinny serum for your hair. It is designed to essentially make your hair more tame, and at least in my opinion, it makes it easier to blow dry if that's what you're doing. My warning I would give with the super skinny serum is that it's very easy to put a little too much in your hair, and that can make it a little bit greasy. However, if you only do about 3 or 4 pumps, I think that that's good. So like I said, I love Paul Mitchell. It's cruelty-free, so I will continue to purchase Paul Mitchell. I especially love the super skinny line because it smells really good. So like I said, this can be a little bit pricey, but seriously, I've had this product for 2 years. I brought this over to Australia and I just now finished it, and when I brought it over, it was barely more than halfway gone. So there's that. So like I said, it's expensive up front, but it lasts forever, so I would totally repurchase it. The next thing that I finished up is one thing that I have used many times before, but I will not be repurchasing because it's not cruelty-free. This is the Clean & Clear Morning Burst Facial Cleanser. I have normal skin, so Clean & Clear works pretty well for me. However, like I said, not cruelty-free, so I won't repurchase it. However, when I go back to the States, I will be pretty interested in checking out the Yes 2 brand and also Alba Botanicals. So if you have an opinion on those 2 brands, please leave it down below because this will be my first time ever using them, but that's what I'll be kind of looking at starting in a week. So again, if you're not cruelty-free and you have normal skin, I would suggest Clean & Clear, but for those of you who are cruelty-free, then you'd have to look elsewhere. The next thing that I finished up is a can of antiperspirant. This is Rexona. This is sold under the name Degree in the States. If you guys have watched my videos, Rexona, these cans of antiperspirant have been in many of my beauty empties. These ones are for anti-white marks, yellow stains, and sweat. I don't wear a lot of white per se, but I wear a lot of black and gray, so this has been very good to me. Unfortunately, it's not cruelty-free, so I'm actually going to start checking out some natural deodorants and see how I like those. The next thing that I finished up is a Colgate Total Advanced Whitening Toothpaste. I mentioned before that Crest tends to be my brand of choice in the States, however Colgate is good too. Crest is not really a brand here. You can buy Oral-B, which is like basically the same, maybe. Don't know, not a dentist. But I think they're actually marketed under the same like parent company, maybe? Don't know. Like I said, not an expert, but I think that's true. So yeah, Colgate is good too. It's just, you know, my life has not changed because of this product. However, it was good for what it needed to be. The next thing that I finished up is a small bottle of contact solution. I've worn glasses in my videos before, but I hardly ever wear them. So if you weren't aware, I wear contacts. But yeah, this is the Renew Fresh multi-purpose solution. I thought it was just fine. I typically don't get too fussy about my contact solutions as long as they're for the right kind of case that I use. Really, that's what I care about. So again, this was fine, lasted me forever, but I could go with any other brand and be just as happy. The next thing that I finished up is kind of an unusual one, but I decided to toss it in here anyway, is the Tums Antacid Assorted Berries. And this had 72 in it. I'm a big fan of Tums. I feel like unless you're like actually keeling over and about to die, Tums are pretty good. Plus these ones are pretty tasty. So yeah, I brought 2 bottles of this over to Australia, and this is the second of the 2 that we finished. It's kind of a weird thing to bring over, but Tums don't exist here. And the first time my boyfriend was in the States, he had an upset stomach one day, so I gave him 2 of these, and he, like, fell in love. It was the weirdest romance I've ever seen. But yeah, he specifically requests that I go buy these when I go back to the States and bring them back. So, there you go. And, you know, for the goodness of his heart and soul, soon we'll be moving back to a place where he can get these very readily. So there you go. We'll continue to buy these. We like the assorted berries kind. And like I said, unless you're like seriously dying, like no, Tums are good. They're fine. They work just as well as they need to. The next thing I finished up is, you've seen these before, a Palmolive hand sanitizer in fig and coconut. I've used up many of these. They smell good. However, Palmolive is not cruelty free, so I won't be repurchasing. The next thing I finished up is just a box of cotton wool tips or Q-tips, whatever. Again, not really opinionated. I don't get fussy about brands with my Q-tips. As long as I feel like they have enough of the cotton wool at the end of the tip, then that works for me. This is just like a store-bought brand that I tend to buy here. The next thing that I finished up is a Mary Kay product. This is Mary Kay Lash Primer. Mary Kay used to be cruelty-free, which is part of the reason why I bought from them. But now that they sell in mainland China, which requires animal testing on products, they're no longer cruelty-free. So they're cruelty-free in terms of what they sell in the US, but in terms of an entire company, technically they're not cruelty-free. However, I found anymore that I'm becoming more minimalist with my makeup, especially more minimalist than I used to be. So I used lash primer for a really long time. I've had several tubes of this, but I'm finding anymore that while I felt like I noticed a difference and while I liked the lash primer, I don't feel like I need it to really move on with my life. You know what I mean? So if you are a lash primer person and you aren't cruelty free, or if you accept that in the US Mary Kay is cruelty free, then yeah, I think this is a good product. However, for me personally, for a number of reasons, I'm not going to repurchase it. The next thing that I finished up is also a Mary Kay product. This is the foundation primer that says SPF 15, I believe. Again, same kind of thing. I felt like I noticed a difference when I used this, and it felt really great underneath my foundation and CC cream and whatever. But like I said, number one, not cruelty-free on an international scale, but also, again, I'm just finding that while this was a good product, I'm not gonna die if I don't have it in my stash anymore. So that's the end of days, at least for now, for me with types of primers. The next thing that I finished up is a chapstick. This is cake batter. It is my favorite flavor of chapstick. I get like really particular in like artisanal about my chapstick flavors. So yeah, cake batter is my favorite. I only use one chapstick at a time, which is how I'm actually able to like use them up and not lose them. So yeah, I love chapstick. Now, what breaks my heart is it's owned by Pfizer, and Pfizer is not cruelty-free. And the notion, like, I'm the chapstick person. Like, you always have one friend who's the chapstick person. That's me. It just breaks my heart knowing that if I'm gonna stay true to being cruelty-free, then that very possibly means I have to give up my lovely chapstick for the sake of ethics. So it's really hard, but, like, you know, it is how it is. But that's how, like, you know, I'm so attached to my chapsticks. Like, this is just, oh, it just hurts my heart. It's like I'm breaking up with it or something. But yeah, I have a couple more chapsticks, so you'll see them throughout the year from me. But I think I may have to seek other brands for this, unfortunately. So, don't know. If you like lip balm and chapstick type products yourself, and you've found great ones that are cruelty-free and have, like, fun flavors like this, seriously, link them down below. I want to see these lip balm products that are cruelty-free. Okay, the next thing that I used up is actually a candle. This is the very last thing that I have that I have actually finished. I'm not just decluttering. Kind of a random thing to have here, but like I mentioned in my Bath & Body Works empties, I'm not going to do a candle empties because I would only have 2 items in it. I was gifted this as a birthday present. My birthday is in the middle of April, and I was up snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef for my birthday this year. So we had some friends up there we were staying with, and they gifted me this little candle for my birthday. This is from a company called Dusk, which is like a kind of fancy schmancy candle company here in Australia. And this is Tahitian flower. So it smelled good. It's a little bit weak, but also it's a single wick little candle. But even when I chopped it up and put it into my wax warmer, I found it was still pretty weak. So yeah, like I said, it's called Tahitian flower, but oddly enough, it smelled sweet, but it also smelled like it kind of had like a powdered sugar type fragrance to it. So it was very odd that it was supposed to be a floral candle, but to me it actually smelled like powdered donuts. However, that's not a complaint. I still liked it, but yeah. So that's that. Okay, so everything else is just decluttering items. The first thing I'm decluttering is a Victoria's Secret body mist or fragrance mist in tropical citrus. I felt like this was fine, and as you can see, well, maybe you can see it. I've used up most of it, but at this point I'm just kind of bored of it and ready to just be done. It's really not worthy of space in my bag, so I'm just gonna toss it at this point. So that was that. It was okay while it lasted. I wasn't horrified by it, but I don't feel like I really need to take it with me because I wouldn't regret leaving it behind, quite frankly. Next thing I'm decluttering is a perfume. I bought this at a local boutique in Wichita. However, it is by the brand Tokyo Milk, so you can also find it online. So this perfume is the #1 in Pose Tobacco, and there's a raven picture inside the bottle. As you guys know, I'm an English teacher, and Edgar Allan Poe is like my late boyfriend. I love Poe's writing. I really like the dark romantics of Victorian time periods, I guess. So yeah, naturally I was kind of drawn to this fragrance, and it's a vanilla tobacco woodsy type fragrance. I liked it for the time that I used it up, and I've had this for maybe a year and a half, 2 years, but I'm finding that I'm really just not a perfume person. Perfumes are oftentimes just a little too heavy for me, and that's why I honestly prefer lighter mists like from Bath & Body Works. So like I said, it was a fun fragrance, but I'm just not really a perfume person myself. The next thing that I'm decluttering is a Mary Kay lipstick. This is in Dusty Rose. It's just kind of like an orangey pink color. I used to really like it, and I held on to it for a while because I found that it was a good kind of interview color, because I typically go for bold lipsticks, but during an interview, at least in my field in education, that's generally not really appropriate. So especially when you are the interviewee. So yeah, I just found that, you know, even though I'm interviewing at this point in my life for the next job or whatever, I just feel like I could just easily go in with some chapstick and just do a nude lip. So, yeah, like I said, I like their satin lipsticks. I do have a couple of them still, but I found that I really don't need this particular one anymore. And the very last 3 things that I'm getting rid of is 3 nail polishes. The first is a China Glaze color. This is in the color Ruby Pumps. Being from Kansas, of course, I love anything like Wizard of Oz. So, yeah, I held on to this for a long time. However, I generally don't like to have glitter nails that's just like a regular polish like this because it's just so annoying to have to take off. So again, I really love the red glitter color here, but I feel like whenever I think about using it, I tend to not because I don't want to deal with trying to take it off. So again, I would definitely wear this color in the future, but it's just a pain to get on and off. So there's that. The next thing that I'm decluttering is a L'Oreal nail color in orange. I liked this for a long time, especially I had kind of a phase of really bright pinks and oranges during college, but I'm kind of moving on from that, and while I still like the color to a certain extent, I typically don't like to wear it on my nails. And then the very last one is a color from Forever 21 from their Love and Beauty line. I don't think that it has like an actual color to it. No, it just says it's a green nail polish, even though it's actually a little bit more blue, as you guys can see in camera. Again, a fun color, but I find that I don't ever paint my own fingernails anymore because I always get my fingernails done. And for my toenails, I tend to stick with like neutrals or dark colors. So again, it's a fun color in and of itself, but not really for me for what I would use it for. So again, kind of a monster beauty empties. This next week I'm gonna have a couple of empties like here and there, but you know, it's not something that I feel like I really need to include in this video or I'm just gonna die, like, you know. So I decided I need to just get this done, get my videos out of the way before gearing up to get ready to go back to the States. So with that, as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram at YellowBrickExpat, same way it's spelled here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.